Welcome to Astrodology, the podcast that brings you knowledge, wisdom, and principles that can help you find the peace and comfort we all seek and deserve in our lives. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Astrodology with Astrid. I hope you're well and things are coming together as we're now in February of this new year, 2025. Unbelievable, all of the crazy things that have happened. And as I'm recording this on the 23rd of February, my mind is blown. So today I'm really excited. I've been talking about this most of 2024 about the Parasite cleanse. Yes, it's time. And coming up on March 9th through March 18th will be the Parasite cleanse. Now, this would be my third time doing a Parasite cleanse. And I'll start off by saying that it's one of the most amazing things I have done regarding dietary shifts or changes. I mean, I've tried everything from Atkins to paleo to carnivore. And it wasn't until I did the Parasite cleanse that I saw lasting change. Now, one of the things I'm always trying a new diet for is because of trying to take off extra weight. And one of my issues was having a distended belly and that purse flap that they call, I've had a couple C-sections and just that aptos fat down below the navel that seems to be so stubborn. So I'll talk more about that, but I want to just say if you have any kind of gut issues, high blood pressure, any kind of medical issue, especially I'm seeing a lot of people come in for bloating, constipation, not going to the restroom. And also the other big thing that's coming through is mental clarity. People say, oh, my brain feels foggy. I don't have energy. And so one of my recommendations is always to start with a Parasite cleanse. It's something I never, ever would have considered until I got educated about it. I had seen on the internet and I had also on social media Parasite cleanses come and go, and especially on TikTok, there was a lot of talk about Parasite cleanses on TikTok. It comes in and out. Comes in and out of vogue on social media. But like I always refer to my yoga principles, Buddha said, you can only talk really with authority about something that you've personally actually done. So like I said, I've been a guinea pig on things in the nutrition world because honest to goodness, we're always a guinea pig no matter what we're doing. So I thought, gosh, once I got trained on Parasite cleanses, and I'll talk to you about what really struck a chord with me and made me want to do it ASAP, is that we just have to take our own health into our hands, as I've repeatedly said. So to open up this conversation, the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, this quote unquote trusted source, does not regulate or standardize the quality, purity, and dosages of herbs and supplements. So if you look up, is this supplement good for me? Is this herb good for me? The first thing that will pop up is, oh, this hasn't been trusted, has been regulated or standardized. And you know what you should say is, thank goodness, because so many Western drugs or prescribed drugs by physicians are not as well. Was the COVID vaccine regulated or standardized? I don't think so. Was it third-party tested? Was it vetted? I don't think so. And the one big one that gets me is the flu shot, the annual flu shot. I've only taken one flu shot in my life, and I believe I felt forced to because of an employer required it. But they don't even have enough time to even know what's in the current flu shot. But people line up like sheep and take it. It never made sense to me that you're going to inject me with something that's going to cause me to potentially get the thing that I don't want. And so many people who get the flu vaccine end up with the flu. And their logic is, well, I was only sick for like a week, but I could have got sick for 2 weeks, or it could have been a lot worse. And the opposite side of the coin is you might not have gotten the flu at all, but they never speak to that. Okay, so as a result, it is said that nutritional supplements have not been tested for safety, in quotes. So the formula, this Parasite Cleanse formula that I am recommending, because I have used it, this will be my third time, is Food Over Drugs. I love the title of the company. I loved the information, and this is how I got educated on parasite cleansings, was from the owner of Food Over Drugs. It's kind of been my philosophy to try to get nutrition from what you're eating and from nature. So to me, supplements and herbs come from nature. So what is a parasite cleanse, and why do you need to do it? A parasite cleanse combines herbal supplements, and also one of the bigger things that gets people is dietary changes. And what's interesting is that a lot of people say, oh, I can't do that for 10 days. Wow, give up this, give up that. But when you think back to all the crazy diets you've tried, I assure you that you can do the parasite cleanse. And the great thing about the parasite cleanse is that you're actually eating food. You're not drinking a bunch of weird shakes and fake things, bars out of packages. You are eating whole foods, and it's preferred. Now, the preferred diet is to get as close to raw as you can, but most of the food that I ate was cooked, unless it was a salad. Obviously, a salad is raw. But a parasite cleanse combines herbal supplements, dietary changes, and the goal or the focus is killing and eliminating, keyword, harmful organisms living in and feeding off of your body. So parasites can live in your body, and they use your body as kind of like an incubator to hatch their babies. And that's the part that got me. So parasites are organisms to the body where another living being lives off of the host. So they need a host to survive. So our bodies become the host. So some parasites create no symptoms in their host, and others can also create severe illness. So it just depends on your disposition. But most people walk around and they have no idea that they have parasites. So the top type of parasites, so that we have good parasites. Let me back up. We have good parasites. We need parasites. They have a job to do, but it is the harmful parasites that a parasite formulation seeks to kill and reduce. So roundworms, tapeworms, pinworms, whipworms, hookworms, lice, giardia, mosquitoes, bedbugs, and scabies. These are the type of parasites that we want to get rid of. Okay, so humans can be infected with a variety of parasites, and the symptoms are different. I'll talk about some of the symptoms shortly. But the question is, do I have parasites? Yes, you do have parasites. At worst, you have the good parasites. Everyone has parasites. We all have tiny mites that live on the top of our skin. I don't know if you took science class or biology, that actually live on our skin. So what got me with the parasites is that depending on which country you live, some countries are rampant with parasites and the population is filled with them. I remember hearing that John F. Kennedy, our former president, had a parasite in his brain. And that's what scares the heck out of me, with so many people coming in with brain fog, can't remember anything, low energy. Could possibly be a symptom that they have parasites overtaking the body. So parasites, all people have them. It is said that 95% of people have them. So like I said, the topic of parasite cleansing is popping up in the Western world. But it's controversial in the medical world because medical doctors say that it's not relevant or true. But some people say that parasite inflammation is highly undiagnosed in America. So the most common infectious type is parasites is round worms. Those are the ones that we're more concerned with. But I'm not going to go into all of this. This is searchable, but you can look it up. So parasite infections occur when parasites grow, reproduce, or invade your organ systems and make them their host, okay? And parasites, this is what got me, which I kind of knew or heard, but parasites can be picked up from pets, including dogs and cats, contaminated food, water, feces, infected blood, and insects. Your risk of having a parasite is higher if you live or visit an area where parasites are common or where human-animal waste is not treated regularly. So if you go to a country that is less developed, you might have parasites. Child care and long-term facilities are places that are at greater risk of parasites. Proper hygiene, of course, comes across. So the idea is parasites live amongst almost all animals on the earth. They also, like I said, play a crucial role in consuming or cleaning up what no longer lives so that new life has room to grow. So parasites have a tendency to pass through the colon walls of a healthy animal to search for additional food or spaces, and here's the part, to lay their eggs. The parasites in nature will find organs or other areas in the body that are weak or contain a toxic buildup of waste where they can build their nest and where they can feed their new hatchlings. There, they will begin to consume the tissue of an already compromised organ, causing further damage to the body. So like I said, parasites are a natural part of our human existence. In almost every aspect of life, parasites exist. Although we can contract them in almost any scenario, we can also reduce our parasite load by cleansing from them. So the point is not to completely eradicate, but to try to reduce the parasite load. One of the reasons I really got interested in parasite cleansing is raw fish is a big culprit. So sushi, so if you love your sushi, you definitely have parasites. But because I love sushi, I've committed myself to doing at least 3 cleanses per year. So like basically every other quarter, every 4 months, I ideally would like to do a parasite cleanse. You can increase your parasite load by eating unwashed produce. That's why it's important to wash your produce, walking barefoot on the soil, drinking contaminated water, owning pets, and public surfaces are vortexes for all kind of disease and bacteria, but that's why washing your hands is so important. Eating raw meat. So if you like, I forgot the term for ground up meat, but if you eat ground up meat and sushi, like I said, you will increase the possibility of having parasites. So once you get infected with a parasite, it's easy to pass it to others. If you have a parasite and you don't wash your hands after using the restroom, you can easily pass the microscopic parasite eggs onto anything that you touch, from the bathroom door handle to a salt shaker, your phone, or anything else you touch. Parasites can move from person to person. Having a parasite can feel scary, but again, there are ways to treat them. You can go conventional medicine and be given a protocol, a prescription protocol. But the goal of a parasite cleanse like this, food over drugs, is to treat the parasitic infection without over-the-counter OTC, over-the-counter prescriptions or medications. So the idea is to take the things back into your hand. So some common ailments or things that you might notice if you had parasites could be abdominal pain, just unknown abdominal pain, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, dehydration, unintended weight loss, fever, lots of flatulence, constipation, swollen lymph nodes, aches and pains, anal itching, teeth grinding, skin irritations and rashes, muscular and joint pain, lack of satiation after a meal, insomnia, and bloating. So one of the things that got me about the parasites is the teeth grinding. I actually have a mouth guard, and so many friends that I know have mouth guards. You go to the dentist, they say you're grinding your teeth, and they give you a guard, but they never get to the underlying surface of that. The other thing is I have eczema. I have very eczema, and my eczema gets triggered by allergies. And one of the things that benefited me from doing the parasite cleanse is, number one, I lost 8 pounds, and those 8 pounds stayed off. No matter what I ate, what I did after, they did not come back on. The second round, I lost even more weight. I didn't even weigh myself. But the third thing that I noticed, or say 4, the third thing I noticed is that my eczema cleared. Maybe not completely, but I had very small flare-ups considering what I had. And then the fourth thing was energy. It's like my mind. This is the one thing I tell people. The 10 days is worth your mental clarity. All of a sudden, I could just clearly see and understand. I didn't have any anxiety. Having anxiety, by the way, is a sign or symptom of parasites. Now, what I love about Food Over Drugs is she recommends that you start the cleanse on or around the full moon, as this is the period when eggs typically hatch. That is what got my attention, because as you know, I'm the moon girl. I follow the new moon and the full moon. It made so much sense to me. It resonated because the full moon is about releasing and letting stuff go. But also the full moon is a time when it is said people get wacky, and crazy, weird things happen. People do silly and nutty things during the full moon. So that made sense to me, because I'm like, well, my goodness, if something is literally not even something, thousands of organisms or hundreds of organisms are hatching in your body, darn right, you're going to be a little cuckoo. So it is suggested that this period is also when parasites are most active. They're not nocturnal. So the full moon, which allows them to be more vulnerable to anti-parasitic herbs. So for best results, the recommendation is to begin the cleanse 5 days prior to the full moon. Okay? So you can start the cleanse 5 days before or after the start date. So the idea is, if you can't do those dates, don't hesitate to do the cleanse whenever it works out for your schedules. So the formula, the Food Over Drugs, is made entirely with organic, regeneratively grown herbs straight from the earth. There's no additives, fillers, preservatives, or pesticides. And this is why I recommend this protocol. So again, you can't recognize all the signs and symptoms of parasites, but as we've already agreed, everyone already has them, and the idea is to get rid of them. So if you have never done a parasite cleanse, to me, it's just a great way to clear the system, and you are eating whole foods. One of the things that I loved about being on the parasite cleanse, for 10 days, you're eating whole foods. Like I'm going to share some recipes. She shares some recipes that you can eat. You're eating. The list is unbelievable what you can and cannot eat. I have a list of no things. So the big question is, can I eat meat? Absolutely not. However, I did read information that says if you insist on eating meat, chicken, fish, fowl, beef, if that's what you need to do, you can do it. It will reduce the efficacy of the cleansing, but I still think that you will get some benefit. Coffee. I know most people rely on their coffee, black coffee. Coffee's on the no list, but I understand it. If you need coffee for energy to wake up, as long as it's black, I think you're absolutely fine. To me, you go from zero. So right now, you've never done a parasite cleanse. So even if you follow the list halfway and you use the formulation, you're going to be way better and way well off, more well off. That's not a word, way well off, but more well off than having not done it. So the benefits of a parasite cleanse, it helps to detoxify the body. We have oxidative stress from the environment, from stress, from tension, from grief, from sadness, from fear. COVID, that was a very fearful time. These fires in Los Angeles, the mudslides, the hurricanes, all of these world events, these plane crashes, this creates stress in the body. The parasite cleansing helps to reduce inflammation, improves your digestion, improves your mental clarity, and restores vitality. So this formulation, what I love about it, it's got organic wormwood, it's got walnut, plantain leaf, black walnut hull. One of my favorite ingredients is wild-crafted po de arco. Po de arco is a South American herb, and what I love about po de arco is its immune support. I drank this tea during COVID, and knock on wood, I did not get sick. So all the ingredients are unbelievable. Turmeric root, and I believe this formula is great because it not only does it has things to protect the body, but also to give you immunity. So while you're going through it, and this formula, you're not running to the toilet. A lot of people have this wild imagination, like I'm going to be running to the toilet all the time. I'm going to have explosive bowel movements. That's the beauty of it. That doesn't happen. You go on about your life, and but I will say, when you go, you go. And it could be length, or it could be like a spiral, almost like the snake charm or the snake wrapping around in the basket. It could kind of look like that. Now, I chose not to look for parasites. You can, during the cleanse, you can look for them, but I could see them, like it kind of see on the top, but I didn't go as far as suggestive as taking chopsticks and moving your stools around to see it. I didn't need to see it to know. I know they were out, because some of the, again, TMI, too much information, but some of my movements were so long. I was like, wow, there had to be something coming out of that. So that's it, my dears. Again, I'm talking to you about something has been life-changing for me. I have to say, my ex-boyfriend, the first time I did it, we did it together. So it's helpful to do it if you have friends, family, that you can do it with. It's easier, it's power in numbers. But what I was really impressed by is my ex-boyfriend reached out to me to make sure that the formula he was getting was the one we had used. He did it by himself because he saw such a big result. So again, this parasite cleanse is starting March 9th through March 18th. If you would like to be a part of it, this is no cost to you. And FYI, I'm not being paid by Food Over Drugs formulation. I do this because I believe in the product. It's worked for me. I've seen it work for multiple people. And I'm just sharing. My mission on life and my purpose is to share, to teach, and to spread information that'll help people change their lives. So it's 10 days. It's 10 days. I assure you the days fly by, but you have to be prepared. The success of the parasite cleanse is to be prepared. So I have lists of the foods, the fruits, the vegetables. I have recipe ideas that you can use in order to have success. So as we stand right now, there are 14 days now between the start of this parasite cleanse. The other thing that I meant to mention earlier is March 9th through 18th is a brilliant time to start this, because in the lunar world, it is the Lunar New Year. So the astrology wheel starts with Aries, and Aries season starts at the end of March. So it's a great time. And then in Kabbalists believe that the new year actually starts in spring, because December, January, and February are actually winter months. So the theory is, how could that be a new year? So in the spring, the flowers bloom and all the new life comes out in spring. So this is an absolute perfect time to do it. I had wanted to do it in perhaps February. My last Parasite cleanse was November, so December, January, February. So me doing it in March puts me on track for that every 4-month thing that I spoke about. Again, there's power in numbers. I put together a Zoom call so we can ask or answer any questions, talk about anything. And also I will send you recipes and the list. So how do you get on the list? You can email me on my personal email at astridkastenberg@gmail.com. ASTRIDKASTENBERG. You can follow me on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, go to Kota Life Goddess, COTALIFE Goddess, and DM me with your email address and your phone number, because what I do each day is I send inspirations via text, but I can also text you the information if you don't want an email. But if you'd like to join, again, no cost to you. There's no hidden cost. I'm not going to ask you for a thing. I'm just going to ask you to be honest, do your best, and ride along with me, because I assure you, you will be thrilled and amazed with the results. So that's it for now. Follow me on Instagram. Listen to the podcast. I'll probably do another podcast before we go live with the cleanse. But this is part 1 of the Parasite cleanse. I may even do a podcast where I talk about the recipes. You know what? I'm going to make a note to do that, because I think it's so important and vital, because you may hear this after March 9th or 18th, and you may want to do it in April. You know, again, I'm giving this information for free. I have no reason to hold on to it. I just want to spread information. Again, one of my main purposes is to help people understand that we have the power to heal ourselves. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Astridology with Astrid. Please join me in this Parasite cleanse. I assure you, it'll be one of the best things that you could have ever possibly done in your life. The energy, the mental clarity, and the bloating that goes down. Like I said, the bloating, the clear skin, etc., etc., etc. Can you tell me I'm a nut about this? Yes, I am a Parasite cleanse nut. But again, thank you so much for listening. I really, really appreciate it. And I will catch you on the next episode of Astridology with Astrid. Again, please follow me on social media at Kota Life Goddess, and also my YouTube channel, Astridology with Astrid Kastenberg. Namaste. Thank you for listening to Astridology. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help support the podcast, please hit the subscribe button and tell your friends about it by sharing this program on social media. You can also follow me on Instagram at Kota Life Goddess or at KotaLife.com. Kota is COTA, Kota Life Goddess, or KotaLife.com. Thank you again for listening to Astridology, and I'll see you next time.